Good communicators know how to ask the right type of questions to get the information they need. But I'd like you to think of something before we actually go into what is known as the SPLATR model. This is a model that I put together to gather information. I want you to imagine you're standing in front of your door. Now you're watching this video, so you're actually watching me in whatever device at this point in time. I assume you're not actually standing in front of a door as well. So if you imagine standing in front of your front door, you will imagine it in front of you, because that's how we imagine things that we're thinking about. So just for a couple of moments, think of your front door and point to where your front door is. Just turn where the key is, just turn the key and imagine either opening the door goes that way or the door goes that way. I asked you to stand in front of your door. I didn't say stand in the outside or stand in the inside. So some of you watching this, you will find that you're on the inside of the door. Other people be the outside of the door. But the main thing is to understand that you have a holographic picture of a door in front of you. Now, you don't just have a holographic picture of the door when you're thinking about it. We create holographic images of everything we're thinking about. So when you're asking someone information, if you're wanting to find out more information about a situation, you're wanting to create this picture in your mind that is similar to the picture that person's creating when they're talking about that situation. We talk about this by talking about being on the same page. So the best way to do this is to do the SPLATR model. And let me just take you through my SPLATR model. The easiest way to retrieve information that is missing is by asking very specific and targeted questions. Now, you cannot make a picture of any situation until you have the what. So the first thing you have to ask is the SPLATR model. The S is a situation, which equals the what, which means that you ask, what specifically are we talking about? Because until you know what someone's talking about, you cannot create that picture in your mind to help start to understand. And then the next thing we're wanting to talk about is the who, the people. The people equals the who. So you can see what we're doing. What I've done with the SPLATR model here is I've actually arranged open questions in a way, in a structure, in a sequence that helps you get the best amount of information possible. So when you know what someone's talking about and when you know who's involved, then you start to get this picture. You can start to build that picture up. And you build the picture up by asking questions like where, the location. So where specifically did that happen? So once you know where, can you see as you're asking these questions, gradually you're retrieving more and more information that's helping you become much clearer about that situation. And then the how did that happen? How do you think that happened? So just by asking the action of how it happened or how that came to be, again, you're getting more information. And then the time. When does this happen? There's a big difference between something that happened maybe a year ago and something that happened 20 minutes ago. So asking the time. So can you see with that, these questions there, you've asked a what question, you've asked a who question, a where, a how, and a when. Now there's one open question here that's missing, and it's the why, because the why gives you the reason or motivation. If you start trying to find out a situation by going straight in with the why, what happens is that people will start to become really defensive. Because when you're asking someone a why question, you're pushing into their beliefs and values. You're actually asking them to defend the decision they made to do whatever it is they did. However, once you've asked the other SPLATR model questions and you've built up a picture and someone has got into the habit of talking to you and giving you much more information, a beautiful way to find out the why this happened is by asking, so what do you think was the reason that this happened? Using the word reason or what motivated you to do that. Asking the reason and asking what motivated you to do something is the same as asking the why question, but it's much gentler and it's much more likely to get people responding to you rather than starting to defend their position. So I hope you found that useful, and that is my SPLATR model.